Hey everyone, to Hunk's Adventure. Just decided to do another little car chat. Obviously, I don't know if anyone really watches these or listens to them, but they're kind of a nice way for me to just, I guess, kind of diary or video journal things going on in my life. Also helps just, again, get it out there, and then maybe I'll be like, oh yeah, glad that didn't turn out that way, or things ended up working out in the end, or whatever the case may be. But yeah, today is Monday, back in the swing of things, and yeah, work's been a little hectic with us really going full steam and adopting AI into our workflows and everything, and just trying to push as much as we can with it. It's a little crazy. It's got, its pros and cons, like all things. One of our developers, my buddy, he actually really got into it and started using it to develop tickets. I don't remember if I had mentioned this in another video or not, but one of the tickets that we had originally kind of estimated at taking about 40 development hours, he was able to get fully out in 4 hours or so, which is great for him, and great for us as a company in a sense, because we're able to get through these bigger tasks a lot quicker, which means we're able to get more fixes and features out for customers and stuff like that, which is always fun. But at the same time, coming from the QA side of things, that just means stuff's going to get to me a lot quicker in terms of testing things, as well as doing automation code for it. But it's not like we don't have tools at our disposal as well. We're just still kind of in that phase of getting that stuff set up so that we're able to. And obviously I'll take partial blame, but my coworker and I, neither of us really owned writing code for a page that we had refactored and changed all of the design for, so it kind of just sat and more features and pieces of it started getting built out. And now I'm kind of doing that, and it's just taking a while because there's just a lot to it, and it affects a lot of tests and just making sure they all work. So I've been going through that. But yeah, one of the main things is just being able to orchestrate multiple AI agents and kind of using them together. We're still trying to work on that in terms of having various agents for things, like one that can run tests, one that debugs tests, various things like that. Trying to have tasks like that set up, but right now I've just been kind of having multiple windows for it and having it look into certain things, I need kind of giving a prompt for a plan of how I need to write some tests and go out the pages, like with this one, with updating all the IDs and everything like that, and then also give me a list of affected areas so that I have noted those. And then I've got other tabs or windows that are being used to kind of debug those tests as I go through them to figure out what's wrong with them, but also not to overload their context, so each one is kind of looking into a different thing for me. So it's been kind of nice letting those kind of go through a lot of the nitty-gritty debugging, and I can focus on actually writing the tests and making note of what is working and stuff like that as I try and get through that, as well as keeping up with the manual tasks. Because like I said, with my developer getting through that ticket so quick, he's been using the Copilot AI to look into defect fixes for him as well. And this morning he had 8 or 9 tickets just ready to go for me. So that was kind of a lot. And one of my coworkers took the day off, so I reassigned 2 of the tickets they had to myself as well. So very productive morning with testing all of that stuff. But luckily with the AI, I was allowed to kind of have it do its thing in terms of debugging and looking at those tests for me while I was getting through the other tasks. So in that sense, but yeah, it's a bit much. Like all things, there's a learning curve to it, and then we just kind of adjust and things work out. But a bit exciting, a bit scary in some ways, but you just gotta try and think of the positives and stick with those. But yeah, other than that, spring break is coming up at some point, trying to figure out if I want to take some time off to do some things with the family. I got through my taxes finally. Been putting them off forever. For whatever reason, I kept expecting to get something separate for our property tax, which I've always had as an additional paper for things, but yeah, I guess with the new company we have, it just kind of got put into one file along with like all the other stuff about the property, so that kind of worked out. But yeah, first year having to try and figure out how to file some extra stuff in terms of like my Amazon on-site commissions and things like that, so I got that figured out. Yeah, I first year as well, and like note, I do my own taxes and everything like that, but this is the first year I did pay for audit defense, just because I was a little bit worried with the whole Amazon stuff, adding that in, and a couple other things, and it's just kind of gets a little bit messy, and you kind of worry about, you know, like all these new things that you're kind of introducing and how it'll go. And yeah, within an hour it was all approved, so I was happy to have those done. Yeah, other than that, I need to plan plane tickets so I can visit my family. And my car really makes a loud shaky noise in that area. But anyway, yeah, I gotta buy plane tickets visiting my family. I haven't been back home from where I'm from since 2010 or 11, so it's been quite some time. But yeah, I'm gonna be going for my brother's wedding. It'd be nice visiting family to some degree and just kind of doing all that. But yeah, plane tickets aren't going to be cheap, and then getting the hotel and the rental car just kind of sucks, getting all this stuff for, you know, a couple of days essentially. But yeah, it'll be worth it, I'm sure, and then I'll kind of have it out of the way. But yeah, that's the next big to-do for me, is just getting that done, you know, for my personal life, and then figure out some stuff maybe for spring break. And then work-wise, it's just you know, keeping up with the workload and learning as much as I can in terms of the AI. Hey everyone, I'm back. It's actually a new day. It's actually St. Patrick's Day, so got my green on, so I can't be pinched. I decided I would just kind of carry on with the topic that I kind of talked about in the first half of this video, just to, I don't know, make it beefier, I suppose. Again, not that it matters too much, right? It's just kind of for me, I suppose. But yeah, we had our AI training today, another one. Today was on context engineering, kind of going over like the context window, tips and tricks, kind of involving that, what kind of context to provide, providing the right amount, not too much, how to know if it's kind of getting overloaded and dealing with that. So it's pretty good training. One thing that I personally liked was, I feel like I was probably the second most talkative person in this presentation, with the presenter being the most, or, you know, obviously the person who talked the most because they're presenting. But yeah, I felt like I brought up some good tips, questions, good input there. You know, and that's not to say that other people just don't already know these things, so maybe they didn't have anything that they needed to provide. But you know, at the end of the day, it felt good. I felt like I was able to contribute to that discussion, kind of help guide some things, get, you know, people kind of talking as well, and kind of build some confidence, I suppose, in myself to be able to follow along and understand these things. Because yeah, it's all very much new to us. Obviously, some people are, you know, more knowledgeable and learning more than others, but we're all kind of spread out, and we're trying to bring that knowledge to everyone to kind of upskill us all to some degree. And even the people that know a lot are, you know, picking up and learning little pieces of things in these trainings as well. So it's been beneficial for everyone. But yeah, I like kind of what we're doing. I appreciate that they are keeping QA in mind. They understand that, you know, quality is very much important, especially as we're using AI as a company, that we're just not accepting the, you know, code that it's producing. We're actually going through, doing our due diligence to ensure it's good and that it is going to work, and updating spec files and everything, so that, you know, it has the appropriate context that it needs, and we're updating anything in terms of like markdown files and stuff for the agent, so that we kind of retain that, and, you know, it gets better over time. So it's been interesting. There were some takeaways and things that we'll be doing, so I'm hoping to look into using what we call like an MCP server, which just allows you to kind of tie into different things, like where we of our tickets for like defects and, you know, features and stories for the project, and having it being able to read those and understand the task and assisting us in that way without having to spoon feed it as much, you could say. So that'll be interesting. Yeah. Other updates, I decided to push my code that I've been working on for like a week, of just updating all of these elements and stuff that we have on a page using this new kind of library. And that's been a huge to-do, as I mentioned in the earlier part of this video. And yeah, it just kept growing. There were more things I could add. I ended up finding a couple of things that I noticed that was changing in the development code that I didn't want to do, that I didn't feel comfortable with because it wasn't on the automation side. So I actually gave those to my developer and had him kind of work those out. So that was good. But yeah, there are just so many changes and more to come, and I didn't want to have to keep like pulling in new code as I'm working on this page. And I was just like, you know what? I've got a good baseline. I've set the groundwork for these pages with new IDs. I've updated how the methods work with them and everything like that, and kind of identified tests that wouldn't work, and the ones that are, and the ones that don't are because of new features and stuff going out. So I was like, I want to get this code out. And then once I have that code out, and then we get these new, you know, features code in, I can pull that code onto a new branch, and I'll have everything updated to where it currently is, and then I'll be able to go through and make more changes and run the tests that I was expecting to pass and make sure those work. So just kind of waiting on that today. But you know, I'm still busy. Dev is definitely getting a lot of tickets to QA to kind of look over. So I definitely got that going on. Of course, that's just gonna become the new norm soon with just getting a lot of work. So that's why we really need to get some of our stuff set up, especially with the AI agents and stuff, to be able to kind of assist with those tickets and orchestrate them in a way to be able to run. So, but yeah, it's all learning for everyone, and excited to kind of see where we end up, you know, by the end of the year in terms of that. Yeah, hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all doing something fun for St. Paddy's Day to celebrate. For me, with my Pokemon Instagram account, I ended up running a giveaway at the end of today. So someone won a bunch of green themed things with cards and candy and stuff like that. So it was fun. Hey everyone, so I decided to record a little bit more. So this is a different day. Yeah, my daughter's sick again, which hasn't been fun. So I'm taking the day off, but just got my son to school. But yeah, I spun out a little bit. I don't remember what I had ended the second piece of this video, which was a second separate video kind of attached on. Yeah, work got a little bit less hectic, not only because I feel, you know, confident enough in what I currently do, but also because I found out that just being able to run multiple of the AI agents is what we were hoping to achieve. And with the whole agent orchestration, where you have one that does something and passes off to another and then to another, where basically they're just all doing your job, isn't quite what we're shooting for right now. Doesn't mean, you know, that won't happen in the future, but it's not something we're worried about right now. And then there's also some EU laws or policies and things that are still being worked out around that anyway, so it's not something that my company is going to kind of move forward with. So yeah, that kind of helps a little bit. That means I'm doing what I need to, which is great. And even with that, I still do a lot of what I had been doing, kind of, and just handling even a lot of the tickets and stuff that we have, just because of the amount of stuff that Dev was getting through at one point with the defects. And yeah, it goes both ways too, in a sense. Even though one of my devs, or I guess both of them, were using Copilot to write the code for them, I was going in and just, you know, finding all sorts of defects. I think most of the tickets probably end up having like 10 defects each logged by me, just for like blatantly obvious things, or just consistency missing between what we had updated to, stuff like that, and discussions around consistency of what buttons should be used and things like that. So Yeah, which may help them take a little bit longer with their prompts, or actually just do their own due diligence, right? Like if you're going to have it write your code, the least you could do is probably make sure that it's how you would have done it too, right? Otherwise, like, do some modifications or go back and make some more fun tweaks, just like, oh, actually we want it like this, or can you fix this and that? Because then there's less back and forth, right? So, but I think it's growing for everyone and just kind of learning that sort of stuff. But I think it'll be good. Yeah, decided to take the day off just because my daughter isn't feeling well, and I'll get back on that horse tomorrow, I suppose. But maybe today I'll get a chance to work a little bit more on some art that I've been doing. That's been fun. It's a nice escape. Haven't sold any of it yet. Actually, one of my friends said she would have paid me money for one, but just like, no, I like doing it for now. Eventually I will. Eventually I will take some time to kind of price things out. But till then, just kind of enjoying it as a hobby and not something that is, trying to bring in a good chunk of money right now. So, yeah, one other milestone, I guess, or thing on that is I hit, 10.1 thousand followers on that Pokemon account, so that's pretty cool. Just, slowly growing over the years. I think with the various giveaways and stuff I do help. But of course, it's not like about that. I'm not using those to grow. I just like doing giveaways and giving things away and making them kind of cool and having a variety of things, which brings in a variety of people, which is always neat. Making new friends, learn about other people that are kind of coming into the Pokemon hobby and things like that. And with the current state of the market and things like that, it's just nice being able to give away Pokemon cards and other things while I can, especially because I can't always find stuff either, so it's kind of ironic that I give stuff away when I have a hard time finding it. But yeah, that's just how it is. I prefer to give. So but yeah, I guess that'll kind of do it for this. Hopefully maybe that'll be something I do today as well. Yeah, take the 3 videos that I've kind of combined or have now, and I get a full video up, just kind of vlogging some of this stuff. So I guess this will hopefully be the final for this video. To stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next one. But hopefully not the next piece for this video and a completely separate video.